time is best not to sit. All right, good afternoon, everyone. All right, glad that each and every one of you chose to come out this evening to listen to the conversation and engage in the conversation for the good of Blythewood Park and Recreation moving into the future. I am Sloan Griffin, one of the town council members for the town of Blythewood. We have with us today my colleague, Councilman Donald Brock, county colleague, Councilman Derek Pugh from the mighty District 2. There you go, brother. And my mentor, Mr. Keith Bailey, former mayor of Blythewood, in the house. And we also have Mr. Rich McKendrick, chairman of our planning commission here today. So a lot of great people here today, and it is raining outside, and it is traffic. So I'm sure that a lot of people are stuck in traffic somewhere in Blythewood, which we're working on infrastructure problems now. So, but we don't want to waste anyone's time. We want to jump right into this conversation. So what I'm going to do is give my colleagues a chance to give some brief statements. Councilman Donald Brock. There you go. I'm good too, sir. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Councilman Derek Pugh from the District 2, right in Blythewood. We cover Blythewood down to Farmer Road. Parks and Rec is near and dear to my heart. I spent 7 years with some of these folks in here. I walked in the room tonight and we started reminiscing about conferences and just meetings and different things. Parks and Recreation is what makes the community a community. It's a lot of families and friends and different people that depend on the Parks and Recreation Commission to either one, make sure that the kids have somewhere to go after school, or two, to make sure for our elderly, our older folks, to make sure they have something to do during the daytime. People depend on Parks and Rec for community information, and I can go on for days, but I'm very excited to be a part of this conversation. I think for some time, if we're going to have a transparent conversation, we need to be true. For some time, that this area of Richland County has felt like that they didn't get what they needed from the Parks and Recreation. So I'm thankful for Councilman Sloan Griffin to have the foresight to set this meeting up and invite the public. That's the most important part. So I'm looking forward to it. And any of you guys, if you need me for anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bailey, any remarks, sir? I don't want to skip over you, sir. Cool deal. I'll let you introduce yourself, sir, and give that message. Thank you, sir. And on behalf of Mayor Brian Franklin, welcome to Blythewood, to you that may not live here, and to the citizens that are here and present on YouTube. Thank you for coming out to participate in this process. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the lady of the hour. Thank you, ma'am, for coming to Blythewood. Thank you for taking the meeting and reaching out to us. I want to give you that publicly. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. This is what we do. This is what it's about. So this might?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Listen, I always tell people when I speak into a mic, I have to be very careful. Why? Because I wanted to be a rapper. That was my first professional aspiration. Hello, I am Lakita Watson, the Executive Director for the Richland County Recreation Commission. It is such a wonderful sight to see so many of you here, even on a rainy day. As you know, recreation does not stop. So I'm going to give you a brief presentation about some of the large, high-level projects that we're currently working on, introduce you to my team, because you're only as good as the people that you're serving, so that you have the opportunity to see that I'm just one head, but I have a whole lot of parts, a whole lot of great parts that make this thing go. So just a little bit about myself. I joined Richland County Recreation Commission in July 2018. I'm almost a month away from my 3-year anniversary. Born and raised in the city of Suffolk, Virginia. People say, where's Suffolk? Well, Hampton Roads. We're a little bit 45 minutes, away from Virginia Beach. But Suffolk is the largest city in the state of Virginia. But they say it's Virginia Beach, but I think they're counting the ocean. We had a very, very great opportunity in recreation. I grew up, recreation is what saved my life. As a child growing up in a single-parent home, a 4-room house, we couldn't afford to go on vacations. I couldn't afford to get the basketball shorts and shoes like everybody else did, but I still played ball. I didn't have my opportunity to do a lot of different things, but I still ran track, and that was because of recreation. Recreation is what made me the person I am today. So I've been in the field for a little over 26 years, not to tell my age, and I started as a recreation leader part-time in the summer camp. I worked my way up and became the director of my hometown in 2003, and I served there for a little over 15 years. And then I'm a woman of faith, and so an opportunity that I believe was God said, hey, won't you go to Richland County? And I said, well, Lord, where is Richland County at? And they said, well, it's Columbia. It's where Columbia sits in that county. So when I first started looking and reading, I'll be very honest, as we said, I believe in keeping it 100. I remember thinking, is this a place where I can be? And I came to the interview and I stayed for 4 days. And in that 4 days, I just rode around. I talked to people. They didn't even know that I was interviewing. I went and I met staff, started looking at the programs, and fast forward, here I am. So what have we been doing in Richland County Recreation Commission for the last 3 years? I would like to share with you some of it you can't see. It's hard to see policy. It's hard to see structure from an organizational standpoint. I had a lot of issues. I inherited a lot of mess. But I knew that with the team that I had and the team that I was going to build, that we would be able to do great work. But that's where we started. We started at rebuilding the team. We started at creating a culture and organization that was built off of professional standards and best practices, not who you know and who you like. I'm just going to be honest with you. And sometimes that can get me in trouble because I am honest. but I believe that when you tell the truth, you can always show clean hands. So tonight you'll meet a few of my members, some that have been here for a while, but then some that decided to join me from all over the country to help make Richland County Recreation Commission what we believe can be the best recreation department, agency in the country. You said, Lakita, how do you know that? Well, I've been blessed to also serve on the board of directors for the National Recreation and Parks Association, and I currently serve as the president of the National Recreation and Parks Ethnic Minority Society. So I believe in diversity, inclusion, and equity. So I've had the opportunity to see parks and facilities all across this country, and I want to tell you that we have some of the best. But can we get better? Yes, we can. So I'm going to go over some of the larger projects that we've been talking about countywide. Then I'll introduce you to one of my team members that will bring it a little closer to home with some of the things that we're looking to do in Blythewood. And then we're going to stop talking and allow you to tell us what are some of your thoughts. It's exciting that you all are about to move forward with your comprehensive plan, the update. In 2022, we will be doing the same thing as a commission. So I'm hoping that we're able to work together between the county and the town so that our documents, they may not sing the same note, but they'll have the same tune. I think that's very important because what I've learned in Richland County, every community is different. So that's why we wanted to take the time to come out here today. So let me start my brief PowerPoint presentation to give you an overview of some of our projects. So I want to start off with the major project that is currently being finalized, and that is an aquatics feasibility study. We have completed this project. We are finalizing just a few of the portions of the business plan. Someone may say, well, what is an aquatics feasibility study? Well, the purpose of this study was to look at all of our existing aquatic facilities that are owned by us, but also that are owned by other entities throughout the entire county. What I found is that we will go and we'll fix one thing, but we don't look at how it fits into the full picture. So I wanted to understand before we started just fixing and upgrading pools, what are the needs? What do we currently have, but where do we need to go? So we hired Councilman and Hunsaker, and they have been leading this project for us through public outreach, a market analysis, facility program planning, a business plan, funding options, and a report. I'm a planner. I don't think that you should just make stuff up as you go along. I don't believe if you build it, they just come. I believe that you should come out and do what we're doing today, and that's talk. So let's see what the community said. I hope, did any of you all fill out the survey for the aquatics feasibility study? Ooh, so no, did y'all even see it? Take notes, Tamika. We got to do a better job. Because if you didn't see it and you didn't participate, that means I don't have your input, and I need your input because what we did find out is that we in the Northeast, up in this area, we are in desperate need for public aquatic facilities. That's something that we have found out. So let me share with you what we have seen in the survey so far. We have surveyed a little close to 900 individuals, and we asked them what were their purposes for currently using the facility. Most individuals use our facilities for recreational swimming. And then we have a large number of individuals, as you see on this graph, that say, we don't use the facilities at all. In addition, we see that we have individuals that visit, but we have people that say they did not visit at all in 2019 and 2020. Now, you may say, well, Akita, you had COVID in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, we still opened up because we felt that it was one of those services that we could provide safely, and we did. Respondents were split 50-50 between who used the pools and don't. 25 of the respondents did not visit the pools more than 5 times in the last 2 summers. Lack of proximity to one of the RCRC pools was a primary reason for not visiting. Other reasons included they did not know we had pools. Access to their own pools or other neighborhood pools, and the pool have been closed for repairs. In addition, when we looked at what would the community like to see, community aquatic programs ranked the highest for amenities to be included. to include shade and tables as a part. So you'll see this graph here, and it shares you where the community really would like to see more community aquatics programs. In that survey, it also asked the question, if Richland County's outdoor swimming pools were to be renovated or replaced, what types of programs would you like to see offered? The highest coming out of there were youth and adult swim lessons, water fitness, recreational swimming, lap competitive swimming, and aquatic therapy. Over 90 of the respondents would like to see RC own and operate an indoor pool. Now, this is an overview I want to share with you of what the entire survey, the main key points that we pulled out. Majority of the respondents live closest to Trentham Park. I will share with you as a part of our discussion, Trentham has reached its lifespan. It has been there a while. I don't know if you have visited before, but it used to be an indoor facility that's now an outdoor facility. It's the closest one to the northeast. 70 of the respondents have children under the age of 18 living in their homes. Close to 50 but do not currently use the pools. 30% of the respondents make less than $50,000 a year. Lack of proximity to one of the pools was the primary reason for not visiting, and you'll see the other items here. But something that really stood out to us is over 90% of the respondents would like to see the commission own and operate an indoor pool. We currently do not have that in our inventory. I want to share with you the assessment thus far of those 4 pools that are owned and operated by Richland County. Trentham, as I shared with you, it is in a central location, but it is in poor condition. They lack shallow water. You say, Lakita, shallow water, what does that mean? It's like beach access. My son is like his mom. We're a little vertically challenged, okay? And so when you are our height and you are 3 and 4 and 5, we're a little behind. He could not take swim lessons because the pool that we had in my hometown was not 0 entry either. So as I look at that, we think about our communities and the individuals that live in our communities and the bodies of water that are around us. Swim lessons are extremely important, and if we can do so year round, it would definitely contribute to the overall health and wellness. You'll see that it is the most used pool at Trentham, but it is at its lifespan. Eastover is in very good condition. We were there this past weekend, had a great event. Hopkins has reached its lifespan as well. And then St. Andrews is in good condition. But as we all know, that is still some distance from us, but it is still within Councilman Pugh's area and is doing very well. So you'll be hearing some dialogue over the next couple of years about an indoor aquatics facility, just trying to figure out how do you do it? Where do you do it? How do you pay for it? I believe in public-private partnerships, working with the business community, going after non-traditional governmental funding, identifying opportunities to partner with the businesses and the school system. We're currently in a great position where we feel that this amenity would really solve a lot of the gaps overall. And so that's the pool stuff. You can feel free to ask me about that. I want to talk to you about another project that we are looking at. We have been working over the last few months to look over the entire inventory, not only in South Carolina, but in our neighboring states, to identify an opportunity for an athletic complex. We are looking to, this is the criteria that we are looking at as a part of our study, is to expand opportunities for participation for people throughout the community while improving that access to high quality sports and recreation amenities in the community. We recognize that there are a lot of sports, a lot of different activities. I was just talking to Councilman Pugh. We have had individuals from the private sector as well to reach out and want to participate. So we feel, of course, that we want to be at the table, and we feel that the plan that we have is very viable and will allow us the opportunity to host tournaments, large and small, to provide year-round access to competition fields, as well as increase our sports tourism. We have not scratched the surface. That's one of the first things I noticed when I came here. But lastly, we want to expand within a community that does not have a lot of the amenities that an athletic facility would offer. That we are looking at an indoor and outdoor facility, multi-sports, not just sports tourism I want to share, but an opportunity for community use to be expanded. Of course, there has to be an economic impact. We're looking at communities that actually have the infrastructure, meaning the utilities that are already there, preferably county-owned property where we're not responsible for having to go out and purchase. And then lastly, we want to be able to achieve an operational sustainability while minimizing subsidy requirements. So it's hard for the government to do this on its own. I mean, I don't know about you all, but people don't want to get taxes raised, correct? So how do we do something like this? So a part of our plan that we will be presenting to the county is public-private partnership. How do you do this with 2 to 3 partners where everyone has skin in the game, but then the citizens don't have to reach the brunt of that cost right off top of the head, where we are gradually easing into that, and that's where public-private partnerships work. So those are 2 major projects that the commission is looking at that is county-wide, but still has a direct impact on what happens in Blythewood because we recognize that there are gaps. I live in Northeast. I don't live this far up, but I see it. The growth is all through here, so that expectation for recreational amenities, that's a part of that. So that's what I have for those 2 projects. If you have any questions right now for those while they're hot on your brain, I'm more than happy to take those, but I would like to invite one of my team members, Mr. Matt Chrisman, up to the microphone to kind of introduce him to you, as well as share with you some things that we're looking at as it relates to Blythewood Park, the athletic complex. We are really trying to accomplish some of the needs that the Baseball Association have brought to our attention, as well as increase community use at that particular site. So if you would like to hold your questions, or maybe I just did such a great job, y'all don't have any, but we'll be here, and I'll call Matt up so that he can share with you a couple of the things that we're doing, and then I would like to just, at least from there, just ask my staff to stand up, and we'll start with Kevin so you know who's in the room, and then we'll go from there. Would that work for you, Councilman Sloan? All right.
I'm not a microphone person. My voice carries. I'm Matt Chrisman. I've been with RCRC for a little over a year. I came from Arizona. I've been in Parks and Recreation for 12 years. I started my career in St. Louis, Missouri. From there, I was a part-time recreation leader doing summer camp. And then from there, I got a full-time job with the Decatur Park District in Illinois. And then from there, I worked there for 3 years over at Aquatics. And I moved out to Arizona. Took a little bit of a demotion. So I started. I went to Arizona. I got out of my comfort zone a little bit. Out in Arizona, we had 39 miles of hiking trails. I wasn't a big hiker, but I wanted to expand my resume in the Parks and Rec field. So I went there. And then I was there for 7 years, and now I'm out as a recreation superintendent here at RCRC. I am over athletics, aquatics, therapeutic rec, health and wellness, and Linwick Golf Course. I know it's a lot to say, but it's a lot to cover, and I'm happy to be here. So bring our to Blythewood now. So with our athletics, we offer, currently we're offering summer basketball. It's at Blythewood Park, and we also are doing Killian Park as well for the northeast side. We are also, we've done string kickers. We had to make it smaller because of the pandemic, so we weren't at Blythewood Park this year, but we're hoping to bring that back. And then we also have the good community. Blythewood Baseball is out at Blythewood Park, and we deal with Kevin Allen a lot with that league. So we're also, right now, we're going through an RFP process to do a master plan for Blythewood Park. It is out to 2 firms. We're going through and grading. We're hoping to have that wrapped up soon to start the process. It'll probably be about a 9-month process where we will have the community stakeholder meetings. We're looking to have about 4 of those. So it'll be anywhere from just public coming out, and then we'll have where it focuses to the stakeholders like the baseball, softball, looking to expand if we could put in a multi-purpose field there. I don't know if you guys know, but Blythewood Park is 39 acres. It is a little bit disconnected because of the woods that are in between the park and the baseball fields. So we're looking to see if we can add baseball fields, if we can move multi-purpose fields, trying to see what amenities we could add, maybe pickleball courts, because that's blown up in the last 5 years in Parks and Recreation. So we're looking to see what amenities we could add to the park along with upping the standard for that park and the community. We know that Blythewood is a growing community, so we want to make sure that the needs of the park match what the community needs and the town needs. So if it's adding 2, 3, 4 baseball fields, if we could fit it, then we would look at that. If it's adding 2 multi-purpose fields, because we don't have a lot of multi-purpose fields on this side of town, then we're looking at that as well. So that's what the master plan for Blythewood Park is going to be. It's going to be a comprehensive plan covering all aspects of the recreation that is just for that park. Like Lakita said, we are going to do a whole commission master plan, but this is just focusing on Blythewood Park, that we can get a game plan and how we can expand just for that park going forward. So that's where we're at for the town of Blythewood and our Blythewood Park.
So I wanted to go like really big, but then bring it back. And I know that we still have more to bring back down and to understand. But if you have any questions and they're burning, and if you don't mind, I would love to introduce my team because I dragged them all out here in the rain because it's important. It's one thing for me to be the ED, but the person that you'll see every day if you go to Blythewood Park is the person that you really want to see. And of course, you can come see me, but he can help you immediately when you show up. So I want to introduce Carlos. Carlos, if you would please stand, sir, and introduce yourself to the community so they know that you're at Blythewood Park. Come on up here if you're going to keep on talking, sweetie, because, see, they're going to need to hear you. Thank you. Be ye also ready.
Excuse me. Besides athletics, if y'all have any ideas or programs that you guys want us to bring to the community, I'm over there from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. right now. As we start to open back up, I'll be over there even longer. My doors are open to the public, to anybody, if y'all want to sit down and have a conversation.
Thank you. So I think that's very important that, yes, that is your park. So please go by and see Carlos. I always tell the story, I met Carlos by accident in St. Louis 5 years ago before I even knew anything about Richland County. So when I came to Richland County, they said, wait a minute, Carlos works there. I said, what? So I'm a big believer that connections and networking is really important. So I was glad to be able to connect with someone that I knew was a Parks and Rec professional, and he's there at this facility. Programs should address community needs. But you are the community, and you need to tell us what you need, and we're going to do our best to get it there. So I'm going to introduce a few more people, and I'm not going to bring everybody to the mic so that y'all don't think that we're trying to have a choir here. But Renee, will you please stand? Renee and her almost new bundle of joy is the district supervisor that covers everything from Polo to Blythewood. All right. Yeah, you can. No, you come. I just want you to say something, though. You can let them know who you are.
Good evening. I am actually born and raised right here in Columbia, South Carolina. I left and worked in Nashville for 15 years. I worked with the Parks and Rec there. So this will actually make my 19th year in July with Parks and Rec. So I'm excited having Ms. Watson here and getting here and actually being home and seeing how it has grown is something that's dear to my heart. So I look forward to working with you however I can help you. I'm here. I may be out for a couple of months in the next couple of months, but I'm coming back. But however we can help, like I said, Carlos is the supervisor over at Blythewood. So if he can't help you, then I can, and we'll figure it out. So look forward to working with y'all. Thank you.
So I like to start from there, start from the park, so you see who is actually in the facility that is working. So now I'm going to share with you my athletic supervisor. Please introduce yourself, Matthew. Extension 117 for all the YouTubers that want to call Matt. Thank you. And we are a team, as I share. So please introduce yourself, JT. Thank you, JT. Thank you, JT. One team, one fight. We are public servants, and you are our bosses, all of you. So, of course, like I said, I go backwards. Kevin, will you please introduce yourself? Thank you, Kevin. Grab Kevin all the way from Georgia. And so then Darian. Now, Darian doesn't play, meaning he's not in athletics, he's not in recreation, but he oversees the entire property management division. So that's all maintenance in all of our facilities. Darian? Thank you, Darian. And last but not least is my deputy director, Mrs. Tamika Williams. And that's the truth. If you can't reach me, you can definitely reach her, and she's going to answer that question for you. But I just think it's important for people to see, and I get it. I know that I'm in charge, but I'm only one person. And I got two in the back. And see, they wouldn't want me to say their names, but I need y'all to all go see them when you finish. Grab all the goodies and things that they have back there. And we have two gifts for our two hosts that brought us here tonight. So I want to make sure that you get to see that. And I'll start here with questions, and then I'm going to end with you two. Okay? And we have comment cards available in the back if you don't want to talk. So questions. I'm ready.
So if you have a question, I'm going to come to you with the microphone.
Okay. The mayor. Past mayor. Hello, sir.
The question is, what type of assessment have you all done for Blythewood? And what were the results of the assessment in terms of needs and recreation?
So that's where we're starting, sir, with the master plan that we are almost finished in procurement. That'll be the first set of data that we'll gather for the needs for the community of Blythewood. When I first came to the commission in 2018, I met with the previous mayor. I don't think it's the current mayor. The previous mayor, along with members of the Athletic Association, and so we started there. Since then, yes, sir. Yeah. Since then, we have a master plan that was done in 2016 prior to me arriving that is a full assessment of all of the facilities to include the Blythewood community, as well as some community outputs that were done. But because I'm new and I feel that that data is old from 2016, we're going to be doing a new plan so that we can get new input from Blythewood as we move forward. This year and next year, you all will be involved in this process.
Thank you, sir. One here.
Hello, I'm John Sutton. Yes, I work for the town, but I'm here as an individual. My question is, what about adaptive sports? We have been doing wheelchair basketball for 14 years. And then about 5 years ago, Richland County said, nope, you can't use our gyms unless you pay X amount of dollars. Well, the lady that we took over for had worked for Richland County for 30 years. And she had always had an adaptive program. And when she retired, she asked us to take over. We went to the council, we got funding. They said, yes, we'll do this. We have people from Blythewood, Columbia, just all over the Northeast. So we went that year, said, yes, you can practice in our gym. We showed up, they kicked us out and said, no, you can't do adaptive sports here. Then they said, well, we'll go back to Blythewood, where you used to be. So we come back to Blythewood. And the new guy over at Blythewood said, no, we don't have any space for you. I said, what about next week? He said, no, we don't have any space for you. So basically, the guy that was in charge, that used to be in your position, he said, yeah, you can have your sports here if you give us all your equipment. No.
Okay, so what did you say your last name was?
Sutton.
Sutton, that will not happen on Watson's watch. That is your facility. This is our adaptive recreation. He oversees that division. It's 5 phenomenal professionals that are committed. We do have wheelchair basketball, so you make sure you get with him when we finish so that we can move forward, okay? It is not, we can't be everywhere. And look, you ought to see Carlos, he turned around like, it won't, I'm ready. So we are ready. That is the past. That is not what will occur. Okay, thank you for your commitment. Adaptive recreation and therapeutic recreation is important because we have to have spaces for all abilities. So I appreciate the hard work that you are putting in, and I look forward to partnering with you again. At no cost, and that is recorded.
Good evening. Thank you so much for being here, first and foremost. And my question is to piggyback off of his question in reference to your assessment. My question is just like the survey that you held in reference to the swimming pools, didn't know, didn't see, didn't know it, how will you go about collecting the data for the sports complex?
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to start with this gentleman that's in the community, as well as this gentleman, because that's what was not happening in the past. And we met just last week, and our goal is to everything that we get out, I'm going to be sending to Councilman Griffin. He's going to make sure it gets to the other council members, and he will help me publicize and get that information on your side. That is very important because I was disappointed when none of you had heard of that survey. So the second piece to that is we have 5 liaisons now with Richland County, with Richland County, and sometimes people get us confused. Yes, we are the Richland County Recreation Commission. We are responsible for the recreation for all of the unincorporated areas, but we are a special purpose district. So we don't receive our funding from the state, even though that's who appoints my bosses, who appoint me. We receive our funding from the county. And so I think sometimes people say, well, Derek, you should make, and so it's about communication, and we need to do better with that, so you will know when those other things occur. And of course, we have Carlos girls here. We will make sure all the things, and in the back is Miss Jamie. She'll introduce herself. I always save her for last because she's such a good closer outer. But she will make sure, too, that all of the information we get gets to the park so that can be your hub. But I'm going to be hitting it, like I said, 1, 2, 3. Okay? And again, my apologies, because I don't know how that happened, Matthew. I think, is it a more of a word of mouth? What is the best way to get information? That's a better question to the members of Blythewood. What would you say is the best way?
How you doing, Lakita?
I'm blessed.
Great. I wanted to share a couple of things, and Rich here can back me up. The town actually just conducted a survey. We had 601 participants supply us with information. The majority of participants stated that they did not feel that our town had adequate recreational facilities. So that's a good start.
Yes.
You're a tall gentleman from Arizona. I think that's you. I'm
Matt.
terrible with names,
Matt.
and I should not admit that publicly, but I am. When you were talking about the reassessment of Blythewood Park, you kept driving baseball, baseball, baseball. I understand that baseball is a big driving factor in Blythewood, and that's great. And that's all we really have is baseball fields. But there's a representative here that represents youth football. There's a representative here that represents youth soccer. I don't know if there's adaptive sports, thank you. These are the people that need facilities. I mean, I'm not saying that we have enough baseball fields, because we don't. But we don't have any multi-purpose fields. Yes, we don't have really any fields other than baseball fields that have lighting on them. We have 601 community participants, not just town, but within the 29016 area, with 55% saying that we don't have enough. And we didn't go into details as far as do we need X, Y, or Z. It was just kind of a blanket statement. We have a beautiful park here that draws people in. We have some space that we might be able to add a little bit. But we are going to need your help if we're going to be able to serve this town and our community. Because we look at Blythewood, and I think I can speak for Sloan here, that people will say they're in Blythewood because they're in the 29016 zip code. What was the number that came out the other day from town administrator? 4,900 people, 4,900. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that live in the town. Those are our constituents. But I feel like that Councilman Griffin and I, we seem like we represent more people, because if some people say, well, where are you from? Well, I'm from Blythewood. That's why when we took our survey and we expanded it, we wanted to include everybody in the 29016 zip code, because those are our stakeholders too. So I am very interested in working with you and your team, and Councilman Pugh, Councilwoman Gretchen Barron, and the other council individuals from Richland County to see what we can add up here in Blythewood. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the town. I understand you work for the unincorporated areas, and you have your space, and we do too.
No, well, you know what,
but
this is included.
We can work together.
Yes, sir.
This is a great start of dialogue between commission, council, county council, citizens of Blythewood, in and out of the town. And so I look here and I see individuals that are looking for multi-purpose fields. That is one of the things we have to look at, and we have to put at the forefront, because we can use multi-purpose fields for baseball and softball too.
You can.
They
You're
do it
exactly
all the time.
right.
And vice versa.
We're going to make sure that you're a part of those stakeholder meetings and the individuals that you're speaking of. Matthew, did you bring any of your cards with you? He stacked them up. Please.
I got a few too.
Oh, awesome. I am a woman of my word. If I said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And we will follow up with you, because it doesn't make sense for us to go and think that we know what we need at Blythewood. So I appreciate your honesty and your candor about that, because you're right. Sometimes the loudest is what you usually hear. And so I'll be honest, my work has been mostly with one of the associations. So I'm glad to hear you say that we have multiple groups that want to continue use, and we can work together. Thank you. Thank you. And if you don't mind, could you give me, you don't have to give me all of your information, but I like having data. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Okay, so my name is Gina Dow.
Hello, Gina.
I'm the president, the face of Blythewood Bengal Youth Football. We've been around 15 years in this town, and I've been running it for about 8.
Okay.
I have 125 boys, ages 5 to 12. And I average about 50 cheerleaders, ages 5 to 12. And currently, as I stand before you today, I have nowhere to go to practice from my children. Nowhere. We have been offered the temporary use of the field that the rodeo takes place on, where they rope the cattle and ride the bulls. So it is not an adequate, safe place for my children. Of course, there's holes. We have been using the field out behind Bethel Hanbury the entire time we've been here, but that land is now under construction for a new elementary school. So we were told to be out within a 2-week period. So at this point, I have equipment stacked in my yard. Should have already started practicing, and we have not done that because we have really been having to tie up loose ends. So I stand before you as a mom. My sons have played baseball since they were big enough to walk. It's my favorite sport in the world. But my fight in this world is my football. And a lot of people in this town have heard me talk. They've heard me cry. They've heard me beg. And right now, football is what we have to have in this town. There's fields all over. You know, you've got Meadow Lake, you've got Killian Park. And I can tell you, I was formerly Pop Warner. Pop Warner's kind of dissolving. And so I'm now part of the UIFL. That's the biggest league in this area at this time. There's about 14 teams in that area. And there's been some partnership discussion with the school district, Mr. Will Anderson, that's the head of the facilities. The issue that we run into with that is the substantial costs that we have to pay. We're currently looking at approximately $800 a Saturday to utilize a field for our football games, and at this point I've been given a quote of approximately $200 each practice that I hold on those fields. And as a nonprofit, the only money I make is what I charge in registration, and a lot of my families can't afford to pay that. I have families that can't afford to buy helmets, can't afford to pay for pads, and a lot of people think the town of Blythewood has money, and there is money in Blythewood, but it ain't everywhere. And I have kids coming from Sumter. I have kids coming from Swansea. I've got, you know, we're 13-time state champions in this town. And so I'm proud. Thank you. But definitely, I need help. Desperately. Okay.
To you tonight. And I'm so sorry that it happened, that you guys were displaced. It sometimes, you know, growth causes us to have to take a pause. But we're going to see. Let's figure out what we can do. Yes, sir.
My name's Frank Cahoon. I'm the president and founder of Blythewood Soccer here in town. So to hear a lot of baseball, and baseball's great, and that's all fine. And Councilman Brock stole a little bit of my thunder, but
Yeah, he got me straight early, so
he got me a little fired
I
up,
heard
but-
your soccer.
But I mean, you know, in the middle of a pandemic, our first full year, we have over 170-some kids. We're expecting to add 40% next year. The town's been very gracious and allow us to use their facilities. We couldn't exist without them. But just like the football program, there's no multi-purpose lighted fields. And when we go to down to Killian Road or whatever, they're all used. And it's hard to work around those. The fields are in bad shape, inadequate, run down. There's lacrosse in this area, there's football, there's other programs that need multi-purpose lighted fields up here, and there's just nothing close. And the ones that are controlled by the big clubs or whatever when it comes to soccer. When I travel to other towns like Myrtle Beach or Sumter or other places, Florence, and see these great facilities that they have there, and know that we're here in the city, the capital of the state, and we can't even have adequate facilities. I can go downtown and get better facilities, lighted facilities. Again, pay arm and a leg, but we got to have somewhere to play. The kids can't all afford it, so a lot of it comes out of my pocket, out of grants or whatever, but there's just a desperate need for lighted field, especially in this area.
That was a powerful statement. I know that somebody's already written that down, that we have absolutely zero multi-purpose fields lit in the area surrounding and in Blythewood. And we've talked about it as well. So you've given us a lot to even be able to build off of. Thank you. So that's why it's important to come out and to talk. I'm learning so much tonight about the communities of Blythewood. Mr. Pugh?
Ms. Watson, I know a lot of times when people think about recreation, they think about baseball, basketball, football, the traditional sports. Do we have anything on the horizon, Richland County wide, that is per se an event that falls under recreation? And for example, the city of Rock Hill, they do a cornhole tournament, which brings tourism money in. They also had at one point in time, I recall them having a BMX bike.
Yes, they did.
I don't know what you call it, meet or rally or whatever they call it, but I know as people come from all over the country. Are we looking to do something like that here in Richland County?
Yes, and that's why I talked about that facility. We need the types of facilities. This group that we're working with, we also looked at what Rock Hill is doing. And so I'm really excited about sharing with you what we feel we can do to fill in those gaps. But multi-purpose and use fields has been something that our athletic team has been drumming in my head to get beyond just the traditional sports. So we're looking to do various camps so that we can see and build the interest for those non-traditional sports. As you know, we're dealing with some issues now, even with our tennis facilities. So we recognize that, and we are looking to build the need through our camps and special activities and tournaments to show the purpose for needing the larger facility to put heads in beds. But yes, sir, that's why I brought my athletic team in, so that we can hear that. First conversation I had when I got here was about lacrosse. It was an interesting conversation. So I want to make sure that I'm talking to all of you so that I know what works and what doesn't work. And what I've heard is not just baseball. We need lit multi-purpose fields for athletics. We need to expand non-traditional sports offering countywide so that we can increase participation. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Again, thank you for coming tonight. We really appreciate y'all being here. A couple questions, and then I'm going to follow it up with a little bit of transparency, or start with transparency. When I look at my Richland County tax bill, recreation is number 3. My kids are grown. My kids are grown and gone. But I do have a lot of contacts within Blythewood that, because their kids can't play rec ball, they're driven to Pop Warner football outside of what a recreational program would offer, or travel softball, travel baseball. So the flip side of that is a travel softball team, there's no place to practice in Blythewood. And they're Blythewood, these are Blythewood residents, Blythewood girls, no place to practice because rec ball, baseball, there's not enough place for rec baseball to practice because we don't have adequate fields. So the residents of Blythewood appreciate, number one, again, appreciate you being here and listening to the fact that our recreational space, our recreational facilities, the availability of fields is zero. So, and I'm in construction, so I travel all around this area. Kelly Mill, beautiful, beautiful complex. But you pass Kelly Mill 50% of the time, the gates are closed, there's nobody there, it's not used. So the travel baseball, softball, requests use of Kelly Mill that's not used and are told they can't use it because it has to be available for rentals. I understand you got to make money. You want to make your facilities turn and make a profit on them or cover the cost on them. But if they're not being used, we leave our travel teams in limbo. And travel teams are in limbo because our Parks and Rec department in Blythewood does not have adequate fields. So they can't sign up for Parks and Rec softball in Blythewood because you're going to hear you don't have enough adequate fields for the girls. There's 180 some girls signed up in, I think it's 8 teams. It's a phenomenal number of athletes. So Blythewood residents are taxed the same as a resident deeper into Richland County that have access to facilities. So I appreciate the presentation. I from the planning commission standpoint, would really like to see some just hard plans put on paper so that residents of Blythewood don't continually hear, we're working on it. We know it's inadequate. We're working on it. We really, really have to, one-on-one, and I've heard you do it tonight 4 times. It's pretty impressive, actually. Look at the problem, hear that there's a problem, and commit to being part of the solution and not perpetuate the problem.
Definitely. Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct. I would, again, transparency. Because we are a special purpose district, we're not set up with a capital improvement fund like a municipal or county. Let's talk about the bond. Okay, I wasn't here, but when that bond was done, that $50 million bond, and different facilities were chosen to be put wherever they were put, that tied our hands as a commission. We cannot borrow until 2032. And a lot of people don't know that. They're like, well, you can't. So it's different. And when we go to the county, because of the way that we're set up from a tax perspective, they don't fund capital. They fund our operating budget and limited park improvements because of the cap. But are there other ways? Yes, sir. We just need to sit down and figure out what they look like. Okay? And you do have my word with that. I don't believe in just coming up with a problem. You're going to see me again. I plan on being here as long as they keep me. So we need to talk about how do we balance off your needs, the multi-purpose field needs, and then the needs of the commission. How do we all come together so that it's all about our children? It is about our children, but we need to work together, because it's one thing for me to say it, for Matt to say it, for JT to say it, coming and listening to you say it, and then we go together and we have our councilman here and our other councilman. This is really good for us. So that's what Sloan, I think he's going to talk about. He wants to come back and do a follow-up within the next 60 days so that we can see where we are and start talking about some things. But before he comes up with that, if I can ask Darius and Jamie to join me so that we can provide our two hosts with a nice little gift that we've pulled from a couple of our businesses to thank them for their service to the community, and more so your commitment to parks and recreation. Recreation changes and saves lives. I'm a living example of that. So for you to come and see me on a on a Friday, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, to say, no, I want to meet the first week of June. I said, sir, do you think people are going to come? He said, no, it's time for us to have these dialogues. And he said, you know what? We need to make sure that we call Councilman Pugh. And then we need to get Councilman Barron as well. So thank you for hosting us, and I look forward to coming back. So this is Jamie. Jamie is our public information officer. Wave, Jamie. She is the one that tells me when everyone's calling, complaining, and she's the one that also helps us stay visible and branded. So I'm glad she was here tonight to hear about that survey so that we can make sure we do a better job beginning it out. Darius Williams. Darius Williams is our outreach coordinator, committed to our internships, our apprenticeships, and prevention for our youth. You guys are a part of that extension, meaning you're not volunteers, but you're kind of volunteers. So with that, Darius, can you share with these gentlemen what we bought for them today?
Thank you. Again, thank you all for the great work you're doing in the community and the support that you give to us as a recreation. Thank you, ma'am. Now, you know, we have a weight loss challenge coming up, okay? So no, I'm gonna give it to him so I can win. But thank you, Ms. Watson. Thank you, Commission. Thank you, Councilman Pugh, my colleague, Mr. Councilman Brock, Planning Commission Chairman. Thank you, and can't leave out former Mayor Keith Bailey. Thank you all for joining us today. Yes, sir. No. Yeah, we're still here. Everybody here is with recreation. Yeah. Well, here you go. The floor's still yours, sir.
I can't remember. I'm Charles Bain. I live at 833 Mount Valley Road, around the corner to 9016. I've lived here since 2015. I've worked for a company where the highway department is now, back in 1987. It's a big white elephant that sits down there. I think that's there, and public safety. So I'm familiar with the area. I remember going once and I said, where the hell's Blythewood? So I work and live in Blythewood. Where is it? Well, I start down this way and I see a sign that says Town of Blythewood. Okay, fine, I'm there. Next thing I know, I'm in Ridgeway. There is no Town of Blythewood. I came back through looking for Blythewood, and of course I saw what's now the food court and the railroad tracks, and then the Langford Nord House, but no Blythewood. Well, then I had to do a little research, and I found out it's really a municipality. And I'm not knocking it, I'm just saying that's how I got familiar with Blythewood. Now, when you sent out today, or yesterday, that there's a meeting we're having on a sports complex, I got worried. I don't want the thing stuck next to my house. So is this a Blythewood? You're going to build it in Blythewood? Or are you going to build it in Richland County in some central location where they can beat all the drums and make all the noise they want? I don't want to hear it. I'm retired. I don't have children. I know that's selfish, but I want to be selfish about this. When I'm out on Friday night and the wind's blowing right, I can hear Westwood over there. Sounds like an Amazonian rainforest. You know, it's horrible. You can't, you just go in and ignore it.
Yes, sir.
Again, not knocking it, but do you plan on, is there a plan on you getting with the Recreation Commission and building this sports complex in 29016?
So to answer your question, I think it's going to be a combination of all of us working together, stakeholders, including yourself, when we get to that point.
All right,
So right
we're
now,
not there.
no, sir, no, sir.
And you
We're
did
not
a
at
good
that point yet.
presentation. I understood
Yes,
it.
sir.
And
No,
I thank everybody.
yeah, no. So once we get to that point, the next, probably the second or third meeting, we'll be at that point to take those concerns. We'll have a more visible look at where we're looking at with a new facility, also giving an update on the current facility here. So as we progress, this is that icebreaker piece because over time, information kind of dissolves itself. So we're here now to put that information back on Jump Street so that we can move forward.
Now,
Yes,
I've
sir.
heard several times two things I don't like. And one is we've got these Taj Mahal schools that are out there that have baseball fields, football fields, and they're sitting there empty. And it really hacks me off because I'm paying for it. Okay, taxes are high. And the mayor's not in here, and I'd tell him his top priority a while back was 1% tax increase on Blythewood. I don't think so. Okay, why aren't we using, I direct this to you, somebody, why can't we use the high school, middle schools? Speak up. Okay. Does the Rec Commission have any control over this? Do you have the mayor's ear when he's not busy rebuilding North Main Street? Do you have the mayor's ear? Can you talk to him and say, we're in dire need of something out here, and they're all sitting out here? Well, you're telling me you don't have a place to practice. I'm going to have to call boo on that, to put it nicely. Secondly, I saw on her list of the facilities that are here that are in poor condition. Why in the hell are we looking at, why in the heck are we looking at spending thousands of dollars, probably millions of dollars, on a rec sports complex when we've got a park sitting over here, if we were looking at doing it in Blythewood? I know you said that's going to pursue. You said there was 30 or 40 acres over there. According to the GIS map, there's 21.2 acres sitting there. And if something's splitting it up and it's in two places, I don't know. So my question is, do you have any idea how big this complex will take up? And could we tear that mess down over there? Because I've been here since '87 and that building hadn't changed.
So right now, that's where we at. We're looking at a whole comp plan, just master plan of the whole park and rec piece.
Yeah. I got you. Well, I want to get my licks in before it goes too far.
Come on and get them in. I'm here.
All right, so your role, Richland Commission, Mr. Fry, how are you? Your role is to work with
The town
the town.
and
you're
county
heading
council.
it up.
All of us are gonna head of this. We're all gonna tag team this thing and work it out for the people of Blythewood. So my colleague there, the mayor, he's watching on YouTube.
Hey, Mayor.
So
I'll
all
put
of
my
us
head in
are.
my hands for the next 30 minutes and go through a 30-minute meeting like you had with the Chamber of Commerce on April the 29th. And oh my God, I got tired of seeing that.
Yes, sir. But we're all gonna work together. We're gonna work together with the input of the citizens. It won't be a council-led input on what we want. It will be what the citizens of Blythewood want.
Who mainly will be working with them? Do I want to come to a planning commission meeting as this thing progresses? Or are you going to have another separate meeting, or is that to be determined?
Yes, sir. So we're going to leave that to be determined because several factors. They're going to begin their process of the rewrite of their plan, comp plan. We're in the middle of our rewrite. So at some point, they will merge their information together, and then we'll come back and look at it and reassess it. But we're going to hold those separate stakeholder meetings for the public and stakeholders such as the soccer, football, and baseball. We're going to bring them back in on a separate note also.
Okay. Will, and I heard this at one point, you mentioned it, will there be an official business plan that says, here's what's going to happen, here are the stakeholders, here's what we're going to charge, and here's how we're going to make money off this thing? Because I've sat and watched this building right here lose $200,000 a year since it was built. Nice facility, I love it, but that's not a good way to run things. I want to get my lick in now and tell you, I don't want to see a sports complex put up that you're going to charge me money to build it when we got a perfectly horrible, I won't say that, I might be rude to the person that runs that, and I apologize. We have a perfect Blythewood Park over here. I read about it today. There's 2 baseball fields, there's a softball field, there's a tennis field, although in red it says tennis field unusual due to a horrible court. We have to rebuild it. So I've kind of been at this now for 24 hours since I got your note. I would say, and this is probably for the next meeting that we have, the large meeting, for town council, that large projects like this should be presented. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to pay for it. Here's how we're making money. That should be presented to the residents of this town. And I heard 4,000 mentioned. I read 10,000 in another email. That should be presented and not left to the planning commission. Okay? Not that you can't do the job. You've helped me. I appreciate it.
Sir.
You know that. It would be good if we could find a way to get a couple of days' notice on some of this stuff. I went into high gear when I saw this, when I really thought about what in the heck are we doing? We got a mess now. Why create another one? Okay. So that's my talking points. And shut up.
Well, no, sir. Yes, sir. No, I appreciate that, and you know,
Thank you, Moody.
I've been right there with you, helping you out. So just to echo on that, our next meeting will be far out in advance. They'll be way far out in advance, probably almost a month in advance. And we're going to finalize these dates. You know, we're going to talk again tomorrow. We're going to get dates up for the next one, and what to expect. So you're going to see that information that you're looking for in the coming future. So appreciate your comments, sir. Oh, okay. All right, okay. Well, feel free, stretch your legs, sir. All right, with that being said, I think we got everybody. If you did not get your question answered, If you continue to have a question, I believe the commission has cards at the back. So feel free to get those comment cards, fill them out, mail them back, call these ladies and gentlemen that's here today representing the commission. They will take your phone call. They will see that you get an answer. And we, the town of Blythewood, my brother here, Richland County, and other colleagues on the county, we're committed to working on this park issue. It's been going on far too long, so it's time to get some answers back and get some results back in. I have a son that he'll be 2 in October, so he likes playing on the playgrounds. And one day he's gonna follow my footsteps and play football and tennis, and he might. I tried soccer too. I tried soccer in the wintertime, and I wasn't a winter guy, but my 2 brothers played soccer. But so I'm going to leave that open for him to explore these possibilities of sports. He's going to be part of the sports community, just like thousands of other kids here in Blythewood. So with that being said, thank the commission for coming out. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for the commitment to not just Blythewood, but Richland County. I think you're doing a great job, and thank you for your leadership. You have an amazing team, and I look forward to working with them. Thank you to my brother, Richland County Council. Thank you for coming out. Thank you, my colleagues and friends. Feel free to reach out to us. Thank you again for coming out. Be blessed and be safe. Thank y'all.